Welcome, everyone. Good evening. I'm Stephen Bopart, Executive Associate Dean and Chief Diversity Officer for Carle, Illinois College of Medicine, and it really is a pleasure to welcome you all here for the celebration of Dean Lee's tenure and as inaugural Dean for Carle, Illinois College of Medicine, and also for this reception and holiday gathering for our whole college. You know, it was William Blake, who was this English poet and painter and visionary, who once said that what is now proved was once only imagined. And that's really this evolving story of Carle, Illinois. What is now proven is that we have this college. We have 4 classes of students. We have students graduating next spring. We've got more than 600 faculty. We have our dedicated staff who share this vision that Carle, Illinois is here to revolutionize medicine, to change healthcare, and really to improve that human condition. So in fact, we're here in this Beckman atrium. It's the very same location that Dean Lee presented his inaugural speech as inaugural dean for Carle, Illinois. So it's just fitting that we're here this evening as well to celebrate again. So King often shares the story of how he and Terry Feinfield first entered their empty offices at the Illini Union Bookstore building and embarked on this unprecedented journey, really, to build the first-of-a-kind medical school in just 5 years. And I wanted to just take this opportunity to thank Terry for not only being there from the start, but also for all those years, for the Carle, Illinois, for being with Dean Lee, and for helping to plan. And even helping to plan tonight's event. So it goes on. So King, to us all, you have been really an inspiration for innovation, for not just the technology in medicine, but also medical education itself. And just recently, many of you may know that King received word that he is going to be inducted into the National Academy of Inventors. This is an honor that recognizes really top national leaders who have not only envisioned the future, but have also invented it. So while King's nomination and award recognizes just not only his contributions to radiology and molecular imaging, but also his innovations to medical education and to the launch and impact that Carle, Illinois already has. So I've been fortunate and even honored to work closely with King for the last 3 years and even earlier since his arrival. I just want to express my own personal gratitude and for what you have established here, for how you have taught us to think and to imagine without limits, for your leadership and also for the impact and the legacy that will forever be a part of you and be a part of us. So thank you very much. So it really is my pleasure to introduce a number of other Carle and campus leaders to share with their sentiments as well. And to start with that, I'd like to introduce our Provost at the University of Illinois, Andreas Cangelares.
Thank you very much, Steve. What a treat to be here with all of you to celebrate someone who I know we're going to remember for a long, long time. So let me start by saying what a privilege it is for me to have this opportunity to be with all of you for this special occasion. And, you know, some of you were here when we were trying to put things together. And I want you to appreciate the fact that the way I got to know Dr. Lee, I'll say King. I love to call him King. So I will keep saying King here, not Dr. Lee. Is when we were actually recruiting him, and at that time I was Dean of Engineering, and I was also co-chairing the search committee. And there are several other members here who had been part of that search committee at that time. And I will tell you, when we talk about Mission Impossible, you know, that committee, I thought, was charged with an impossible mission, to convince people that hey, forget what you learned in medical school. We're going to do things differently here, and you need to come here and make it happen. So let me go back and revisit some of that history. And I said, many of you remember this, but allow me to go through that because it's very important to me. At the time we began the planning process for a new engineering-based College of Medicine in earnest, several of us were in different roles. And I was one of many faculty and staff from all across campus who believed very strongly about how uniquely positioned we were to make this kind of medical school happen. And I have to tell you, when I came here in 1997, they were already talking about an engineering approach to medicine, which, by the way, gave birth to the Department of Bioengineering at that time. So people who have been thinking about this, if there's one place that can do that differently, Illinois is the place. And the thinking was very deep, and it was growing over time. And it was that opportunity where, with our strong partnership with Carl, the university came together to put together that vision that would not just create the world's first engineering-based College of Medicine, but also it would be a college that would be operational and admit its first class of students in just 2 years. I'm laughing because I too felt that it was a true mission impossible. I have to tell you, and I remember if Helen, my wife, were here, she would tell you, I went home and I said, well, the chancellor and the provost want to make this happen. I don't think it's possible, but we'll give it a shot. That's what I told her. So there were plenty of individuals who, from the earliest days of setting out this vision, said that we were setting out to do something that could not be done. And there were even a few very powerful voices, I'm not going to become political here, who went so far as to say, it should not be done. It should not be done. But as you all know, we are a very special community here. And once we decide to do something and we convince ourselves, one another, that this is the right thing to do, no one will stop us. And it was very clear to all of us that this was something worth doing. And I know that as we were engaging through the bioengineering department and other parts of campus, we're engaging our friends and colleagues in the medical profession and elsewhere, they were believing in the vision. They were believing in the vision. So that's what we did. We said, we are going to make this happen. We had the determination necessary to transform an unheard of idea into the first new college. The first new college, actually, built on this university in the last 50 years. And we went about this international search, a search committee for a passionate, goal-driven, innovative leader. And that search, well, we know the outcome, led us to Dr. Lee, the king. And I have to say, all of us remember when King came on this campus, and he was so excited about this vision, and we tried to tell him things, but he would interrupt us, and he would complete our sentences. And I say this because, you know, that was the kind of conviction for all of us that said, this person can make it happen. And that was my first encounter with Dr. Lee. I was a fellow dean of his. I was dean for a while. And then, of course, eventually, I became his boss, or one of his bosses. But nothing changed, because we knew that all of us had to contribute to make this happen. And watching the king in action was quite amazing. The speed and scale of the progress of the Carroll Illinois College of Medicine under his leadership are truly remarkable, truly remarkable. And the thoroughness in putting together this new college in a way that all the accreditors are going to feel comfortable with what we're doing cannot be overstated. it was one of the most important elements that some of us were so excited about this happening, and people like me were not really fully aware of what it takes to get a college accredited, but King stayed focused on that and moved it forward. And just a little more than 5 years under his leadership and with his guidance, Carl, Illinois has forged a never-before-seen public-private partnership with Carl. Never before seen. Public-private partnership with Carl. Designed and deployed a totally new medical education curriculum. Filled the 4 classes with truly outstanding, most technically prepared students in the country. Earned provisional accreditation. And we'll see the first class of our graduates, the new Carl, Illinois physicians, graduate this spring. If this does not deserve a round of applause, I don't know what does. And as Steve said, Dean Lee came to Illinois as an internationally renowned scholar, a prolific researcher, an inventor, and a distinguished physician. And as he retires 5 years later, we must add visionary medical education innovator to that already impressive list of accomplishments. I have to tell you, King, thinking about retirement, I would love to have a title like this as part of my accomplishment before I retire. So congratulations to you for that. And I want to finish my remarks by reflecting on what I know some of you have read it. One of his early interviews with the Illinois Alumni magazine. And in that interview, he said, think about it, and I'll try to think about it. Students being inventors and changing lives. What medical school curriculum is out there now that allows students to do that? I don't sound like King, but I'm trying to sound like King. Well, just 5 years later, thanks to Dean King Lee, we have a loud and a clear answer to that question. There's just one such curriculum in college, and it is called the Carl, Illinois College of Medicine. Dean Lee, King, on behalf of all of us at Illinois, congratulations on your retirement, and thank you so very much for your leadership, your vision, and care that have made this groundbreaking college a historic addition to the legacy of the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Most grateful.
All right, thank you very much, Andreas. Next, I'd like to invite Dr. Charles Dennis, our Executive Vice President and Chief Medical Officer of Carle Health, to come share some sentiments as well.
Thank you, Steve. It's a great privilege for me to come in front of you and be able to have a chance to speak just a few words with regards to my appreciation that King has given both of our institutions in his tenure here at the Carle, Illinois College of Medicine. Just to dovetail a little bit on what Andreas said, reflect how many of us would have uprooted their families, uprooted their careers, and come and start a fledgling organization that has been unproven. And King did it in such a way that showed a great deal of passion, and that passion, I think, was then introduced to all the people around him, both inside the college as well as both institutions which the college was part of. My words tonight will be just a few, but what I did was kind of reflect on what is a legacy of the leader. It could be considered the brick and mortar that's left behind, the processes, the procedures that is left behind. But To me, the greatest legacy that a leader has is the people that's left behind. It's those individuals that, taking up the model that that leader creates, continues the process going forward. And what that legacy of that individual leader will be measured in is not so much what he left the institution with, but what will be created from that institution in the future. So as we look back 20 years from now and see what Carle Illinois College of Medicine has become, what its people have created, we'll remember that King Lee was that guy that took on the role and had the passion and came here and became the inaugural dean of an innovative healthcare solution, education solution, that in my belief may become the model of the future. So we all, both institutions, owe King a great deal of gratitude in taking that leap of faith in the passion behind what this model represents. And each of us then also has a responsibility to take on that passion in King's absence, and all of us have a role in that, from the leadership of the institutions to the faculty of the Carle Illinois College of Medicine, and to the students, because it's really even the students who I think will be the ultimate driver of that legacy for King in the future, as we see what they become, where they go, what innovations they create, what changes in healthcare that becomes their own individual legacy. So, not to belabor this, but I think I personally, having come from outside the institution, only being with Carle for 4 years, having this really already in place when I have very little legacy in this, but will enjoy what legacy I do have. But I think it's all of the people in this room really that have been here from the beginning and have helped King along his path that deserve also a round of applause. So I ask that for you right now. And so, King, I personally have a great admiration for an individual like you and the character that you've shown in this process, and look forward to seeing the continued progression of the medical school going forward. And in our shared retirements, look forward to seeing how you model your retirement so I can do the same. So with that, I'll hand it back to Steve.
Well, thank you so much for your comments, Chuck and Andreas. And I think we spend so much time looking at the future, rightly so. But I do look forward to that day, maybe 20 years from now, to look back and look at the legacy and look at what was initiated here, in the first 5 years. So with that, I'd like to next introduce Jessica Breitbarth, our Associate Dean for Advancement in Carle, Illinois, to take over the program from here.
I have to lower this. Thanks, Steve. So I've been very fortunate to work with Dean Lee over the past 3 years as he's built out this innovative medical educational program. And he really exemplifies the moniker physician innovator. So we are pleased to share that the establishment of the King Lee Physician Innovative Award. The purpose of this annual award is to recognize students that best capture the mission of Carle Illinois College of Medicine to have educational, exceptional physician innovators to deliver high-value, compassionate healthcare through transformative solutions developed at the intersection of engineering, science, and medicine. The recipients will be selected from graduating students by an awards committee. A plaque in the Dean's Suite will be engraved with the recipients' names each year. As one of the highest awards given by the Carle Illinois College of Medicine, the King Lee Physician Innovator Award will recognize students whose achievements in innovation are truly stellar, and I know that we're going to have many of those. As an endowed fund, this award will be given each year in perpetuity. Presented annually, the students will learn about Dean Lee's foresight and leadership as the inaugural dean of the Carle, Illinois College of Medicine, and we are so grateful to you, King. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Chief of Staff, Rosalind Garcia Tosi. Rosalind has been serving in this capacity since July of 2021, and she's been an integral connection between Dean Lee and the Carle, Illinois community.
As Jessica indicated, let me fix this. I've only been in my role for nearly 5 months, but during this very short time that I've been here, I've had the pleasure of working with Dean Lee. He has spent time orienting me and providing me with the necessary tools and the information needed for me to be successful in my role. He made it possible for my predecessor, Gary Giacomelli, who's here somewhere, to overlap with me when I started, and I appreciate that very much, Dean Lee. I feel fortunate to have had this precious time with you, Dean Lee. So first, the college would like to present you, Dean Lee, with a gift. Over the years, Dean Lee has expressed how impressed he is with the beauty of the landscape of Central Illinois. Many of you may be familiar with Larry Canfor's photographs. On behalf of the college, Dean Lee, we would like to present you with this photograph titled Embers of Knowledge. I believe that Larry and Elena Canfor are with us this evening somewhere. They're there. Okay. 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 Second, you may have noticed that banner. The banner is filled with special messages to you, Dean Lee, from Carle, Illinois students. I would also like to share that the College of Medicine has commissioned a portrait of you, our inaugural dean, which will hang prominently in our Medical Sciences building, establishing a new tradition for our college. Before I present our final gift, I'd like to acknowledge the team which I had the pleasure of being a part of that planned this event. Dr. Beaupart, Jessica Breitbarth, Terry Feinfield, Lynette Cravens, Ryan Monahan, and Liz Steele. Finally, I would like to transition to a special video highlighting the impact that you've had in our university. There are so many more individuals who would have liked to have shared their appreciation for your contributions to our college, and these are just few of many voices. So I encourage you to, as socially distanced as you can be, we're going to show a video.
I'm Dr. King Lee. I'm the Dean of the new Carle, Illinois College of Medicine.
One of the things I always tell you that I love most about you, King, is that you start sentences with the word imagine. And boy, did you ever come here and bring your own brilliant creativity and imagination to make the most of this extraordinary moment in history. To launch something that is going to absolutely transform society.
And I remember you said, you know, we're kind of building the airplane as we go, and hopefully by now, though, the airplane's built because we're we're about to land into graduation. So thank you for that.
Hi, Elizabeth. I'm the Dean of the Carl Illinois College of Medicine. Yes. I'm delighted to deliver you this admission package from our college. I think you will fit into our program perfectly, with your background, the aspiration, and we'll make you a very successful physician innovator and a physician leader.
Wow, thanks. It's 3.5 years later, and I've finally gotten a chance to spend some of the funds on my Maker Lab coin and get access to the Maker Lab network. And I know my classmates and I are looking forward to being able to show you what we've created this year.
I remember at the showcase 4 years ago, you were on stage sharing with prospective students like myself then that Carl Illinois was recruiting future physician innovators who will utilize engineering concepts and technology to create solutions that will improve patient care and revolutionize healthcare. I was captivated by that vision and knew this was the right place for me.
Thanks to you, words like physician innovator and progenitive medicine and tomorrow's healthcare are going to become permanent fixtures, and the concepts that are driving them are going to change everything about the way we understand and ultimately treat human disease.
Hi, my name is Emily Smith, and I am a third-year medical student here at Carl Illinois College of Medicine who worked with Dean Lee in his research lab. When I started doing research with him, he was so warm and welcoming, helping me get involved in the projects I found to be the most interesting and facilitating my integration into the lab. Dean Lee, you exemplify those core values of Carl Illinois, like compassion, curiosity, and collaboration. It's hard to see you go, but I wish you well in your next adventure.
Thank you so much for your contributions, all of your good work, and thank you so much for your partnership and collaboration with our regional campus of the University of Illinois College of Medicine during our transition.
Now, our 4 classes are filled. The first class will soon graduate, and our school will achieve full accreditation status. Thank you for your strong leadership and always ensuring our students have the enriching experiences here.
King, it only seems like a few days ago that we embarked upon this journey together. If I remember correctly, I started about maybe 30 days before you started. In fact, I think you were the first physician that I had the great pleasure of approving in my first few weeks as chancellor of this university. You have truly been inspiring. You've led with great integrity, and you have positioned the Carl Illinois College of Medicine to be well positioned for the future. And we're very, very grateful to you for your innovative leadership and to be the thought leader of bringing this big idea to fruition.
Dean Lee, thank you so much for your leadership and guidance these past several years. The college has learned and grown from your knowledge and expertise to become the greatest college in the world. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of it. And I know the legacy that you and so many others began here will continue, not only for the first class of physician innovators, but for years to come.
I want to really start by thanking King for his hard work, his commitment, his passion, and his leadership. We all took a risk together, and he took a risk by actually accepting the offer to be the inaugural dean. So that in itself, is shows and exemplifies the commitment he has towards this mission of integrating engineering, technology, and medicine together for meeting the triple aim, which is to reduce cost, improve access, and improve the quality of healthcare.
Hello, King. Jim Leonard here. Reaching out to you to say thank you. Really appreciate you being the founding dean. That's your title forever, and it's very much appreciated. Also want to say best of luck. I hope that as you move forward in your plans and activities, that joy and happiness follow you in everything that you do. Best of luck, and thank you so much for making a huge difference here at Carl.
I want to say thank you, Dean Lee, for everything that you've done. To be the inaugural dean of a totally different College of Medicine is both a privilege and a huge responsibility. And you've been able to fly this plane as it was being built. You've done so much in a relatively short amount of time. We are deeply, deeply indebted. So thank you.
We're so glad, King, that you joined us. And I want to congratulate you on your promotion to retirement now. As everyone has said, you look too young still to retire, but we're so glad that you spent this last phase of your career with us and with the Carl Illinois College of Medicine.
It is my great honor and pleasure to wish you and your family all the best in your pending retirement, and to personally thank you for all of the thoughtful innovation that you brought to bear to advance the notion of an engineering-based College of Medicine.
And all of the tremendous impact that you've made along the way, from the launch of the first class, successful provisional accreditation, and now handing the baton with the wind at our back for this to ultimately transform society. I would like to ask that you do the same thing you've asked of us. As you move on to, I'm sure, so many other amazing things, I want to encourage you, King, to imagine how the world is going to be such a better place because of what you did here. And thank you so much for giving us that amazing gift that is now the Carl Illinois College of Medicine. Thank you so much, King. All the best to you.
And now I invite Dean Lee to make some comments.
Well, first of all, thank you all for coming. And you're all so kind to me that you have convinced me to almost start over again in this great institution. I heard that from several people, they're looking for assistant professor in bioengineering. So maybe I should apply. Well, the Dean of Engineering promised me I would have a shot at that job. Well, time really flies, right? You know, it has been 5 years since I joined here, and 40 years since I graduated from medical school. So looking back, this is an amazing journey. I still remember we had a welcoming party for me, right? In this very atrium. And so for me, this is like a full circle in UIUC. When I started here 5 years ago, I knew I was embarking on a high-risk but high-impact project. The vision of building the world's first engineering-focused College of Medicine that would leverage technology and data science to enhance the humanistic aspect of medicine, to make it higher quality, lower cost, more accessible, and more equitable, is really a compelling vision. However, to implement this vision is not easy. It will take an entire ecosystem to make it happen. And this ecosystem would not just include people in the medical school, but also from the entire campus, the entire Cal Health system, and the supportive community around us. After over 30 years of academic medicine, I learned one thing, that collaboration is the key. And through collaboration, though, I learned that there's certain things we need to redefine in academics. The first thing is the word control. In academics, we're trained to become the principal investigator, right? You have control over the direction of research and the research projects and everything in the lab. But in true collaboration, a decision process by the team has to be established so that everyone feels that they have input. But control is not personal. Control is ceded to the team through the process. The second thing that's very important in collaboration is credits, right? In academics, the principal investigator usually get a lot of the credit for the research results. For example, the Nobel Prize is only given to up to 3 people, right? But you really think about it, in true collaboration, the credit should go to the team, not the team leader. The third thing is how we define return on investment. In a true collaboration, we're really trying to achieve common good. So return on investment should not be measured in monetary terms or other more solid terms, but it should be measured in really positive impact to society. I feel that we have succeeded in building a truly unique medical school that is already making impact. However, it cannot be done without the collaborative efforts from everyone in this room, right? The entire campus, the entire Cal Health system, and the supportive community. I can't really talk about this without using the word imagine. I think every one of us can imagine the tremendous impact this medical school can have, not by itself, but as a catalyst to allow this ecosystem to really function at the highest point and reach its highest potential in impacting the world. I would like to thank everyone who has contributed to the success of this tremendous medical school, but especially to the students who have put the trust in us and have helped us really shape, right, this initial phase of building this medical school. Finally, I would like to wish everyone and their families a joyous holiday season. And why don't we just start celebrating now? The food and drink is over there. Thank you very, very much.